He tried to cite the lawyers for contempt, and because they walked out of the courtroom, and they protested that they had simply walked out because they'd been discharged by the client. So the judge is back reading his law again. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's sort of silly.
Well, this had nothing to do with the jury.
No, well, they did have a couple of questions, but they were sort of technical ones, about definitions and things like that. It's pretty silly.
The judge said I was told, he always has that.
Getting more word subterfuge and surreptitiously, and then they also wanted some tests done on some of the evidence, and he didn't say what, and he said he denied them. So I don't know what it all meant.
Did he deny the jury?
Yeah, he didn't allow.
But they are
he
thinking
did
about
give them
those.
the dictionary definitions of the two words.
They are thinking about those.
Surreptitiously and subterfuge. Well, I don't know what it means in terms of their deliberations. It doesn't sound real hopeful to me.
Well, it sounds to me like they're nitpicking.
They're nitpicking, exactly.
Which is,
the prosecution did make a huge thing about how sneaky they were, that they subterfuged their way in and surreptitious their hammers.
In terms of they're playing with the games of the court, though. They're thinking about words like that.
That's what it sounds like.
They're not looking over the big issue, they're looking at the little issues.
Yeah, they're nitpicking.
Molly, what happened with the lawyers? They got cited
for contempt because when we stood up, the lawyers left, and at that point they had been discharged, and so they left, and he said, "You turned your back on the courts." And they said, "Well, no, we turned to the side and walked out." And he said, "Well, you turned your side on the court."
He said, what?
What they should have done was go out calling.
You turned your side on the court. And the judge came in with six guards. He had two guards, one on either side. He arrived with one on either side.
I'm gonna lock him up. We're going there tonight.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Something like that. And there we got
Forget
interrupted.
that. Except you ought to tell the story about the judge and the contempt. Or maybe it doesn't.
I think maybe one of the lawyers should do that. They were much better able to discuss it, I think. Yeah. Get Charlie or Ramsey. Ramsey was fine, too.
The thing that comes to my mind in terms of, I think I briefly talked to you about this, is just the issue of courage and being a courageous person. And my own curiosity is kind of points at wanting to know where that courage comes from. Where does it come from that you, an ordinary human being, so to speak, find yourself in extraordinary conditions now? And is there any way of tracing that psychological development? We talked about your relationship to the Merton Center.